Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your last horoscope for 2022. Can you believe it? Hello, Scorpio. Welcome back. As I said, this is your last horoscope for 2022. We get to finish this year that has had much movement, much change, many eclipses for you. And we get to reflect and we get to look back on what we've experienced, what lessons we've learned, and we get to look forward to the next cycle. I don't know if you celebrate the holidays or not, and I understand some of the emotions that come to the surface or that need to be repressed at this time of year. As much as it's mirthful and, joyful, and there's a certain kind of magic that is pumped into us at this time of year, and it's great. It's also fine if this time of year is uncomfortable for you, and if there are certain things or certain rhythms or places that you come back to at this time that are a bit trickier. So for that, I'd like to invite you to come and celebrate with me when we hit 1 degree of Aries. When we get to start the zodiac from the top, that'll be a nice time. And that'll be a separate celebration to the collective celebration that's going on right now. For you, this lunation is happening. It's on Friday the 23rd of December, so a couple of days before the festivities. And it's affecting your third house. The third house is where we find language. It's how we learn to communicate. And it has a lot to do with, our village, so our local environment, and there's potential for learning, reading and writing, teaching, that sort of thing. So I want you at this lunation to have a think about your message, or maybe have a think about what it is that you hope to feel in your environment, in your local environment. What is your position in the town square? How do you contribute to a sustainable community? And is there things that you'd like to achieve next year in regard to that? Is there languages that you'd like to learn? Is there a different way of communicating that you'd like to bring into your practice, into your experience? I like the third house. It's, it's not without its difficulty in my birth chart. That's where my Chiron placement is, but that's all right. Some of us find it difficult to communicate in language, and we communicate in different ways. And to have Capricorn in your third house, in your house of connecting, is interesting, because there is a solo quality to Capricorn, isn't there? Capricorn is cardinal earth, instigating, grounding, practicality, discipline, foundations. And I see for you, Scorpio, I see for you that right now there's a lot of supportive planetary energy in that house. So not only with the sun and the moon at 1 degree of Capricorn for this lunation, we also have Mercury and Venus and Pluto all swimming around in that area of life. So there is messages that I think are going to come. There is a reaching out, I feel, that's going to happen for you, perhaps in ways of describing your feeling of your solo path. I don't know, I have a Capricorn sun, so I can sort of, in my ego, I can describe to you what a Capricorn might experience. And it's got a lot to do with the solo path. It's a lot to do with being addicted to work in some way, addicted to productivity as a way of trying to provide support, as a way of trying to find a place. We're all looking for a place in life. And to have Capricorn in your third, I can see there's I can see that in you too, Scorpio. I can see that solo path. I see Mercury and Venus as a message of love, and maybe a message of love that might need a little bit more ruminating, a bit of time to think over. Mercury will station retrograde in Capricorn on the 29th of December, I think. It's a couple of days after the holidays. And during a retrograde period, it's a great time to go over what it is you're about to express, or go over what it is you've processed, what information, how is it computing, before, making putting in pen to paper. So what I see here is maybe if you use the beginning of the holiday period as a time of reflection, and maybe in your new moon ritual, maybe in that moment of sitting down and using your magic, it might be great for you to write the first draft of what you'd like to say, what you'd like to express, what you'd like to learn more about. And then, as Mercury stations retrograde, that can be a great time for you to mull things over, to think it through, to go over the draft, maybe write a second one. And then, when Mercury stations direct on the 19th of January in Capricorn, maybe that will be the time for you to send out those messages. There's so many different languages to learn. It's a great thing to study this stuff, because I recognize, I just look at pictures, as I read these things, glyphs that I've learned, that I've memorized. This picture means Aries. This picture means Jupiter. And there's a simplicity to using pictures rather than words to communicate. There's also a great deal of interpretation, and that's why the tarot is so great, because that's a great example of reading with pictures, communicating with something other than spoken language. Maybe there's something about the tarot that's interesting to you, and there might be something that you'd like to learn more about, or to engage further in your practice. The third can have something to do with our siblings as well. Folks that you would consider part of the family, perhaps relationships that have relationships that have had some sort of effect on your understanding, on your communication style. So at a new moon, to be related to our siblings, our family, or those that feel like family. There might be, there's some messages of intimacy that I can see coming forward at this new moon. So there's 6 planets in cardinal signs right now. Cardinal is initiation energy. Cardinal is starting something. When we think of cardinal energy, we just perhaps need to think about the start of a season. And that's where the layer of these energies come in. The 6th planet in a cardinal sign is Jupiter in Aries. And so there's a square going on between Jupiter and this lunation. The lunation's at 1 degree of Capricorn. Jupiter's at 0 degrees of Aries. And I would look at this as a moment to hold up, perhaps, on the Jupiter energy. I think that probably Capricorn can take precedence at this particular lunation. I think that there's definitely a responsibility to your communication styles that needs a real zoning in on. We'll get to enjoy the expansion of Jupiter in Aries as time goes by. They're stationed direct and they're going to be traveling all the way through Aries over the coming months, making a conjunction with Chiron too. There's some potential for wounds to be healed here. Aries rules your 6th house, which is a house of ritual and rhythm and health in the body. And so there's definitely a feeling of coming together before focusing in on the self again. Yeah, there's something kind of gently communal about this lunation for you, Scorpio. And that's not to say that, you have to extend the olive branch to every sibling, your relationships are your own, and you'll process them all, and you'll process your sort of your perception of the village as well. You'll process where that's how that's sitting for you. You're a private person. You don't have to actively sort of engage. But if you're wanting a sense of if you're wanting the village to be a place that you feel welcome in, then this is the lunation to ask for it. It's really interesting to, as we trundle on in life, things change, and it's all right. We change, and that's perfect. That's beautiful. If there were things that were left unsaid, or if there's something that needs to be expressed, then I think that you can probably look at this new moon in Capricorn as an invitation to translate some of that, and give yourself the time as well. You don't have to get all this done in 2 weeks before the next lunation, you can give yourself some time, particularly because Mercury's going retrograde. Mercury is the messenger. The 3rd house is about communicating. So what I see, Scorpio, is there's something really important that you need to say, and you're going to come to that, you're going to come to that realization. It's going to come to you. The words will flow. The pictures will flow. However it is that you intend to communicate, or whatever language you choose to use, the message will come through. And it might be at this time, it might be a great moment to ask for help other than your own steam. That's what we do at a new moon. We create a bit of magic. And sometimes when we think of the 3rd house, it really is a conversation. That perhaps you might be the initiator. Perhaps you might receive some communication around this time. You might come into an experience of reconnection. And for this, you can use this retrograde period as a time to reflect on that, perhaps before you respond as well. It's not up to you to, well, it depends. It's really up to you, actually. You tell me. You tell me, Scorpio. Are you the one that needs to make the first contact? Or are you waiting for someone else to make contact? And I wonder if there's a middle ground that we can find here. When it comes to Jupiter in your sixth, I see that as a really positive experience, that you're probably going to come into a much better relationship with your health, and there's going to be a focus on that. So as far as your rhythm, your ritual, that could be mental health or otherwise, physical health, there's going to be something really embodied about the experience of Jupiter in your sixth. There's going to be probably some things that might need going over, re-examining, but it will be an encouraging feeling that you'll have. And maybe this could be some of the conversation that's sort of difficult for you to sort of transcribe just now. It could be, I've got to tell this person or that person, the other person, how I've been developing, how I've been tending to my needs, and I'm in a good place, and I'm feeling really healthy. This square, I think, is what is this square? I think that if you have the impulse to reach out, Scorpio, I know that that's not I know that that's not typical of you. There's a lot that's withheld in a Scorpio energy. This lunation might be a nice offering to start chipping away at laying the foundation for that pathway. Yeah. That's your reading. Happy holidays. I wish you all the very best, Scorpio. Head over to umaruby.com, book yourself a birth chart with me. The books are open. You can book whenever you like. Also, I'm loving to get your opinion on where I can take this work. I love these horoscopes. I'm going to continue to do them. I also would like to expand upon my offerings. So if there's something that you would like to learn about, or if there's a different avenue of reading that you'd like to see, I've sort of cooled off on the pick-a-card readings. They're a lot of work, and there's some great folks on this platform that do beautiful things with pick-a-cards, and I feel that my journey, I'm finding that I can translate the astrology really beautifully, incorporating the tarot. But let me know what you'd like to share and experience in Magical Land with me next year. I look forward to collaborating. Until I see you next year, take care, Scorpio. I love you. Bye.